let alone Jada Pinkett.
I don't know. The wife is insane. I don't trust the kids.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Alright.
Well, you move the camera a little bit back.
Which one?
Camera 2.
Camera 2? So I was thinking, I just couldn't tell. God bless.
A little bit back. Almost to the door.
Oh yeah, it was all the way over here, wasn't
all
it?
the way back. You get both of us in frame. Take it back now, y'all. Well, not this time.
Boy, don't start doing this, shall we'll call him right back in here. Don't stay.
You just gotta pull it forward, and then by the time I come back up, it's like...
Just yank it.
Oh, don't do that. We're playing with our life here. Financial life.
Oh, I need to...
I got you.
Dude, I swear.
I
Oh.
have to show you the clip.
Let me pull this out so I can see.
I got Balo doing some inappropriate stuff.
I'm not surprised.
Huh?
Oh, on the camera?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did.
He's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
That's awesome.
So, he's trying to get the bottle to work.
Yeah.
And his back is to me. But, he's doing this, but he's got the bottle between his legs. So, you can't really see the bottle.
That was good. I got both of you a shoulder.
Good.
That'll work.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
So, all you see is Balo going.
That's golden.
It's crazy. Alright, so we just need to hit record on all the cameras?
Yes.
Already did that.
Okay, so
Oh,
we're
recording?
we're recording?
Yep. I just need the big
Okay.
green
Okay.
button.
So we hit the big green button.
Alright, real quick. Recap. Yo. Sup?
What's up?
Last episode, this episode, 2021 was kind of crazy.
Yep. So
Oh,
we're gonna
we
talk
heard
about
about-
we're gonna talk about 2021 today.
Yeah, kind of the timeline.
Yeah.
Between. Dope.
And then feel free to jump around, ask questions, and then Balo, you're just gonna have to pull up those photos.
Yeah, just let me know. It'll be fun.
Okay.
Are those in timeline order?
No,
No, I'll find them. Just
they don't have to be.
Right.
That's all 2021. I'll figure it out.
all right. We ready?
Yep.
All right. 3, 2.
Wait, who's saying welcome back?
The rules are made up and the points don't matter. I feel like you're the host, right?
I'm the host?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Alright.
All right.
Right.
Yeah. 3, 2. Don't touch the table.
Welcome back to 0 to 7 podcast, presented by 4 Without Detail. Last episode, we kind of got into Dawson's journey and starting 4 Without Detail and adversity he had to go through. And one major year of adversity was 2021. And so today we're going to talk about that, get into more in depth of it, and yeah, stay tuned. How's it going?
Good. How are you, sir?
Doing good.
Sweet.
Yeah, last podcast was awesome.
It was.
Yeah, it was like
We did it. We basically figured out everything now. We're pros.
everything.
Yeah.
Pros. Speaking of pros, you
Come-
weren't a pro.
Come
in
at me,
2020.
Joe Rogan. No, I was not a pro.
No, not at all. Not at all. No. Yeah, no. But it was so crazy. We had to kind of make a timeline of it and kind of talk about everything you went through.
Yeah.
So kind of getting started. March 8th, you had a overspray job with 6 cars. And how much did you get from it?
Yeah, so this was, again, so we officially, decided to really go for it January 1st, 2021. Going into 2021, we're going to try and make a run of this, right? And so this is in March, only, officially done a couple months. And I get a call from, it was this construction company, and they were painting the side of this building, and they got overspray over all, their employees' cars, which is super common. We literally had a Mustang in, a couple days ago with that. It just happens all the time. But at the time, I was like, yeah, I can totally just clay it, right? And just take it off. Looking back on it, probably should have polished it, but I didn't. And I think at the time, I'm trying to remember pricing. I think I charged $100 for an exterior, which is crazy.
So, how much did you charge for a full?
I think a full was $150 because I think I gave you a $50 discount if you did if you did a full, which is also crazy because now we charge like 3x that.
Yeah, we
Like,
that's crazy.
yeah, but I mean, we didn't have the reputation, we didn't have a brand, you know, we didn't really have reviews. Like, you know, you just starting out, you gotta start at the bottom, right?
Yeah, work your way up.
But anyways, so I think I charged like $100 for next year, and because it was so many, I think I gave them like a 20% discount on every car, so I think I charged like $80 for a car, which, in my mind, I was like, sweet, I just landed 6 exteriors.
Yeah.
But like, what really should have been closer to like a $5,000-$6,000 contract, I did for like $500.
Did you do all 6 cars in one day?
No, I rotated them. So they dropped them off at my house. So I did get to do them all at the house, which was really nice. Working from home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just clayed them. It took forever because, again, probably should have clayed then polished. But got it all out. They were happy. Actually, they left us. They did leave us a review. But yeah, I remember that landing like my first like contract job. I think we have a photo of it.
As he's pulling up the photo, can you kind of explain what claying is so people that don't know what it is, explain why it took so long to do 6 cars?
That's a really good point. So clay is a synthetic material. It's a big red truck. Clay is a synthetic material that basically everybody has embedded contaminants on your clear coat. So if you drive, like BMWs are pretty notorious for this, but if you drive any kind of sports car, if you work near trains, if you work near factories, so like for us, like the train depot by TCU, if you live around there, if you work at Lockheed Martin, if you go to the plant a lot of those cars are just covered in embedded contaminants. And so basically what happens is you can wash it all you want, but they're not going to come off. It's not something you necessarily see, but if you ever take the back of your finger and like rub it on your paint, it should feel smooth, but a lot of people like it feels gritty. It's almost like a sandpaper kind of texture.
Yeah.
And it's not like, again, you can feel it right after you wash your car. So like your car's clean, but like it still feels gritty. So what all that is just embedded contaminants. So you take a clay, it feels almost like a really sticky, it's almost kind of like a Play-Doh substance, and you rub it over your car, and that'll pull all that out. So with overspray, again, it's like it has started to embed in your clear coat, and so you've got to take clay and basically pull all that out. So
Yeah, do that for 6 cars. Were they all equally bad, or were there some like?
some were worse than others,
Yeah.
but yeah, they were. It just took a long time, and just being by myself, and our processes were definitely not as dialed in as they were now. They are now.
Yeah, and another thing that happened in March that you had to go to the ER
Yeah.
for anxiety, right?
Yeah. So like a big reoccurring theme in my story is anxiety. We could probably spend the entire podcast here. But, so 2021 started having anxiety attacks and like didn't even know, like didn't have a concept of it. We didn't even know what to call it. Like I didn't call it an anxiety attack there. I just knew something was off. So if anybody's ever not had an anxiety attack, it's not as simple as like, just don't be anxious, right? Like
That makes me more anxious.
what do you mean? Just don't be anxious. It's so easy. But no, like it's a physical response that your body has. So like your heart starts going really fast. I feel it in my shoulders would get tense, shortness of breath, start losing feeling in my fingers and my toes. And it basically just feels like you're going to die because it feels like your body is shutting down. So I had no idea what was going on. And so eventually would just go to the ER because, again, like literally, I can remember saying like, I'm going to die. Like, I don't know what it is, but I'm like, I'm going to die. So we'd go to the ER, they run all these tests, and I mean, they could see like my like heart rate and everything is elevated, but like outside of that, nothing's wrong. And so after a couple times, because I actually ended up in the ER multiple times, And then after that, it was like, okay, maybe we need to. Clearly, there's nothing physically wrong. So, like, maybe we need to figure out what's going on mentally. Like, maybe we need to go and see a therapist. And so then, when I started going to see a therapist, started learning about anxiety and, like, what happens to your body. And turns out, like, talking about your feelings and emotions is important.
Who would have thought?
Right?
Not me.
No, never. I think growing up, like, in my house, it was very much like, keep your head down, do the right thing, like, don't talk about your feelings. And that's just how it was, you know? But, yeah, feelings are super important. Breathing is super important, which sounds obvious and stupid, but, yeah, now I do meditations every morning, control your breathing, slow your heart rate, control your stress, figure out what's going on with your body. Yeah, but that was a big part of 21, was going through that, and really hard just trying to figure it out and navigate it. Now, like, it's fine. I feel like we have a handle on it, but navigating that was extremely hard.
So was that like a really big struggle going to the business? Because do you ever think this is too much, I have to quit? Because you went in the ER, you said multiple times, and you...
Yeah. No, honestly, the business really helped. So, like, when you go through an anxiety attack, like, your reasoning part of your brain, your prefrontal cortex shuts down, right? So you can't that's why you can't logic your way out of an anxiety attack. That's why, like, saying don't be anxious is stupid. Don't do that. But what you can do is kind of, like, trick the body. You want to engage all the other senses. So, like, what do you see? What do you taste? What do you feel? What do you hear? And so if you can shift the mind somewhere else, it's a lot easier to control it. You bring your heart rate down, things like that. So a lot of the times this actually happened at night when, like, there was nothing going on and, like, the brain's kind of shutting off. And then, you know, because of whatever's going on, I would have a spike and then go through an anxiety attack. But sometimes it would happen in the morning too. But I say nice, there's not really a nice thing about an anxiety attack. But the nice thing about the anxiety attacks in the morning would be I knew I had to go do a job, right? So when I would go and I would start detailing, like, it put the mind somewhere else, and then pretty quickly it would fade away. So it actually kind of helped having something physical to do. It didn't solve the problem, but it solved it in the short term, but definitely the long term was a lot of hard, like, mental work and therapy and stuff like that.
So working was a way to cope throughout your anxiety?
Yes, for sure.
Oh? At least in the next month. The start of next month, April 1st, you got a really big job, so I bet that kind of helped your anxiety. You got your first coding job.
Yep. Shout out to Vincent if you're watching this. I don't even know if Vincent knows that I was his first, or my first, but I think it was my first. That was my first big one. I don't remember. It wasn't my first coding job, but I think it was my first, like, $1,000 plus coding job. I think that's why I remember that so much. I remember being in the Target parking lot, and Vincent shoots me the text of, like, let's do it. And I was like, I just landed a $1,000 deal. Like, I've made it.
Talk about anxiety. That would have been...
Which is funny now because, like, you know, now we do codings every day that are 1,000 plus. I mean, sometimes multiple codings a day that are 1,000 plus, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's a good problem to have, though.
But, yeah, back then... And then I was just super scared of, like, don't screw up, don't screw up, don't screw up. Yeah, I remember putting on that coding and, like, just being so afraid of high spots. But turned out really good. Vincent became a really long client. We did his truck. He had a little sports car. We did that, and we did his wife's car, too. But, yeah, that was pretty cool.
Wow. That's awesome. So, that was kind of like the main thing in April. But going to May, back to the anxiety part, is your daughter's birthday, May 2nd.
Yeah.
And you spent your birthday in an ER
I did.
for anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah, that is hard and something I don't know if I'll ever forget. Yeah, so I remember both of our parents are over, daughter's first birthday, like, I mean, to be fair, like, she's one, she has no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
But, and what I eventually noticed, this kind of reoccurring theme of, like, on great days, and we might talk about this later, I actually went to the ER on my birthday, too. But on days that are, like, really good, and I'm feeling good, then you're always kind of aware that anxiety's in the background, right? And so then you start getting this voice of, like, don't get anxious. Don't get anxious. Like, we don't have time for that. Like, everything's going good. Like, just don't mess it up, right? But the problem with that is, like, it's the same thing of, like, don't think about pink elephants. What do you think about? Think about pink elephants.
Only pink elephants.
Right? So it's really hard to trick your brain into doing that. So when you're just thinking, don't be anxious, don't be anxious, don't be anxious, don't be anxious, a lot of times anxiety would come. And so same exact thing happened I don't even remember, I remember sitting, like, what chair I was sitting in, and I started feeling anxious, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Where were you at?
It was in the living room. We were just at our house.
Okay.
Just hanging out. Again, just parents. It was May of 21, so I'm trying to remember. 2020 and 2021 blur together, but, like, I don't think we were doing big gatherings then because COVID was still kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just small gathering. And I remember going to the bathroom and, like, just looking in the mirror and be like, don't be anxious. Like, just trying to, like, hardcore will your way through it.
Yeah.
And, like, obviously, we already talked about that doesn't work. Yeah, so it just got to the point, and then eventually it was just, we almost started using the ER as a crutch, which is why we don't do that anymore. Because I knew, like, I can go to the ER, they can give me whatever, I don't even know what the drug was, they can give me whatever it is, calm me down, and, like, I'm good. Because we knew, like, physically there's nothing wrong with me. So we weren't worried about that, but it was still really hard to get to that point when, like, it's not about you on that day. Like, it was about her, and I couldn't be there for her because I had my own shit to deal with. So, yeah, that really sucked, but part of the journey.
Yeah, and I like what you said about looking yourself in the mirror and saying, don't be anxious, right?
Doesn't work.
So when did you learn that doesn't work? Because I'm assuming you tried multiple times, so have I. But.
Yeah, I think it's just you go through it enough times and you're like, okay, this doesn't work. And then it wasn't till talking with my therapist of, like, he gave me the tools, which is super common knowledge. I don't know why we don't talk about this crap. Of, like, hey, just breathe, control your heart. So, again, the long story short, again, I could talk forever about this, but, like, your prefrontal cortex shuts off, right? So you can't logic your way out. Okay, so how do you fight your brain when your brain's not working? Use your body. Okay, so how do you tell your brain to calm down? Well, if you think, because you're essentially going into fight or flight mode, right? So if you ever look at a fighter, like, about to go into a ring, you know, a lot of times what they do, like, a short, quick breaths that elevates the heart rate. The opposite of that is if you have really long exhales, the longer exhale than the inhale is the key, but the long exhale slows your heart rate. So think about, like, if you were trying to chase a lion down, go kill a lion, like, you need a lot of that adrenaline, right? You need those short, quick breaths. You need that sprint. But our body, or at least in this case my body, so stupid, like, I'm in fight or flight, and I'm like, there's no freaking lion, calm down.
Yeah.
But in order to tell it that, like, if you long exhale, like, when are you ever going to be chasing a lion long exhale? Like, those two things don't match up. So you do that enough, and then your body's like, oh, there is no lion. We're not in danger. We're good. False alarm. Everybody, we're good. Right? So it was just learning those techniques, and then there's a lot of shit in my past that like we had to deal with, that I think helped a lot. But a lot of it was the breathing techniques and really being more self-aware, and understanding your emotions, which again, as a guy, I don't feel like we talk about. But yeah, it turns out it's very important, and it's something I'm still working on, but much better than I was back in 2021.
Yeah, and I don't want to make this into an anxiety podcast, but I have to ask.
I love it.
You said on good days you had anxiety. Is that for any type of reason? Where did that anxiety come from also? Did it start with the business or before? You always had struggle with it.
On good days, what do you mean?
It's like your daughter's birthday and your birthday.
Oh, yeah. Where did it come from?
Is there any particular reason why on those certain days? Big days or occasions?
Yeah, no, I mean, the anxiety in general came from, like, past history stuff, which, that would be a crazy episode. Maybe we'll get into that. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to listen to that episode of my past childhood trauma. So, like, the anxiety came from that, but then basically your threshold, like, everybody gets anxious, right? Like, anxiety is not a bad thing. The problem is most people, anxiety's threshold is like 2, 3, 4. So then they get anxious. What happens? It cranks up to like 5 or 6, right? Which is, maybe that's uncomfortable, but you're okay. You're just like, hey, I feel anxious. The problem is I had all this stuff, didn't know how to navigate it, didn't talk about my emotions. So my anxiety threshold is like a 9.5. So it could be any little thing, and then that cranks you to a 10, and then at a 10, your body shuts down and you feel like you're going to die. So it's how do we get that baseline down to where when anxiety comes, because anxiety is normal, anxiety is always going to come, but how do we get that down so that when you get anxious, it's not the end of the world? So to answer your question on like where did that come from, I think it was just I just didn't want to be a burden to people, and so again, any like good time is like I just didn't want to mess it up, but then like thinking about it again, my threshold was so high that it would like trigger it, and I'm like, well, crap, I just did the thing I was trying to avoid. If that makes sense.
Yeah. What a testimony. That's great. Well, kind of push forward. Same in May. Same day. 13. May 13th, sorry. Got a job at a dump. I know it's a crazy transition, but got a job at a dump.
Yeah. Yeah, so these people, they owned like a recycling garbage dump. I remember pulling up, it was like this giant steel, like, retractable gate. And I was like, I gotta be in the wrong spot. So I call them, and I'm like, hey, like, I think I'm here. And they're like, oh yeah, you're at the right spot. They're like, we'll open the gate. So like this big gate opens up, and I'm like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
So anyways, drive through, gate closes behind me, and I'm like, well, I can't leave now. And then they lived on the dump, and they lived in like a mobile home, which they had built this giant like wooden deck off of, and it had this big carport. And these cars, like, I mean, I'm super grateful for the job. They were super nice, but like the cars were trash.
Like trash cars, or just like crazy dirty?
Crazy dirty, man.
Yeah.
Again, I think we might have a picture. I don't know if I've got it.
There's a picture of the cup holders, right?
Yeah, it's the cup holders, and then one of the Explorer.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Not that one.
Oh no, not that one.
No, not that one. There's another one, man. That one right there. Yeah, so
Oh,
like,
wow.
like I don't even know what that is, dude. Like, it was just it was so nasty. But yeah,
That's crazy.
that was pretty common. But that wasn't the thing. Like, that was fine. Like, I can deal with dirty cars.
Yeah.
But they would sit on their porch and they would just smoke and they would just stare at you. And I'm just like, hey, I'm here. And so, like, anytime somebody, like, you're doing a job and somebody's just staring at you.
Yeah, it's awkward.
Yeah, like we have a decent shop now, but we don't really have, like, a lobby, right? And so sometimes clients wait, which is fine. Like, they certainly can do that. But anytime they do that, it is a little bit weird to just be like, they're just staring at you, you know?
It feels like I don't know, you can't mess up once. And
Yeah.
It feels like, I don't know.
Or, like, I want to explain, like, I know I haven't hit this, but, like, I'm going to come back, you know? Like, I'm not done.
Or
But
if you take a break, and it's like 2
Yes.
hours in, they're like, nah, keep going. It's like,
know.
well, I need to breathe.
But yeah, I mean, they never said anything. Again, they were always super nice, but it was just the fact that it was a dump, it was a super sketchy place, and they just sat there and would just stare at you. But I went back like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's funny that you went back in July.
Yeah.
And, back then, was it any different then? Also, by the way, how long did you take that detail for? How long was the detail?
I mean, I'm trying to think. At this time, most of my details take all day.
So they watched you all day?
Yeah, pretty much.
You're a better man than me.
And they would literally smoke all day. Like, I mean, they had to be going through like a pack a day. And they would just sit there and just watch. But yeah, I mean, because it used to take me about 4 hours for the exterior, 4 hours for the interior. So it took me about 8 hours total. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say a prayer for the youngs. That's what. Moving forward, May 27th. I feel like you got really good results from May 27th to June 16th. We also have a couple pictures of that.
Yeah, I think we do. Yeah, I mean, it's cool because, again, there's times that truck there, that's Vincent's truck. But yeah, that one, the Explorer, pull that one up.
Looking through a mirror.
I love this thing. This thing turned out so good. I don't have any before pictures, but like it was just super scratched up. He ended up driving, or his son like drove through a bush or something. But yeah, that was pretty cool to see. And it's just nice to see like making progress because, you know, you don't necessarily feel it, but just getting better day by day and actually starting to become a good detailer. It's nice when you're like actually good at your craft, right?
Yeah.
Which is funny now because like now I don't think I'm the best detailer at all.
Not at all, man. Not at all. You fell
Okay.
off.
Whoa.
You fell off.
Okay, you didn't have to agree with it.
Sorry.
That much.
Say that out loud.
But like, Valeri's better than me. Zach's better than me. Jared's better than me. Alberto's better than me. I still think I'm better than you. I still think I'm better than Bob.
Okay, first of all, the disrespect has to stop. Disrespect has to stop. This
Bro.
is a recurring thing. I'm gonna spare you this one, alright? We're gonna move forward. Back to something a little deep again.
Okay. All right.
June 25th, anxiety.
Yeah, this happened at Torchy's. Remember that.
What tacos did you have?
I get the Baja shrimp.
Was it just not hidden?
What?
Or just like
What is wrong with the Baja shrimp? Do you not? All right, hold up. Bigger question. Do you not like Torchy's?
it's. If we have a future sponsorship, I
Yeah.
love Torchies.
Okay.
I love them.
Okay.
But if they don't want to sponsor us, I can't even say the answer just in case they want to. I love Torchies. I love it.
You don't love Torchy's.
I eat all the time.
You don't love Torchy's.
You are ruining a
Wow.
brand, a future brand deal.
I
You're ruining a future brand deal.
will do the brand deal with Torchy's. You can do.
So now you're skipping me out of a bag.
Yeah, because
You
you don't like
comes to
torchies.
disrespect again. Here he goes. It's a reoccurring thing.
Okay, first off, the queso is amazing. The margaritas are amazing.
Underage. Can't drink, sorry.
Okay, well that is true. So give it some time, and then you'll understand why Torchy's is so good. That's what it is. You just haven't had the Torchy's experience yet.
I like their main tacos. What is it? Trash something? Trash
Trailer Park?
Trailer Park.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a solid taco.
Yeah, there you go.
But other than that, so it's very okay. I don't dislike anything.
I'm
It's
about
very.
to walk off this set right now.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, anyways, back to
June.
anxiety. Yeah, so we go to Torchy's. Again, just Torchy's is amazing. So I was like, that's what I want for my birthday, right? Get some tacos, marks, queso.
Hey, it's your birthday?
Huh?
It's your birthday?
It was on this day?
June 25th?
June 23rd, but like we were celebrating.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. But that was like my birthday thing, right?
Yeah.
And I remember being at Torchy's, being outside, and like just getting anxious. And that one was scary because I'd never really had an anxiety attack like middle of the day. It had always been like beginning of the day or end of the day. Like I said, if you can keep your mind occupied, like you're fine typically. But this one, I remember just shutting down like in public, and I'm there with Samantha and Sophia, and I'm like, we gotta go. And I remember like basically stumbling to the car because like, again, like it feels like my body's shutting down. Like I can't feel my hands, I can't feel my toes. I think I drove home that time. No, I think Sam drove. I don't know, but that wasn't fun, and so yeah, ended up back in the ER. Because a lot of these now, like if they don't really happen, but if they do happen, I can get under control in like 15 minutes. It's fine. But when I say like anxiety attack back in 21, you're talking like this is gonna last 4 hours, like minimum.
Was that the last time you had a major anxiety attack, or they kind of recurred?
That was the last time I think I went to the ER. It was definitely not the last time I had an anxiety attack.
That, like, major?
So we went to the ER, I think, at least 3 times that I can remember. But again, we learned, like, we don't need the ER. Like, the ER is just a crutch. Because, like, despite, like, what it feels like, you're fine. You're not actually going to die. So it sucks, but it's like, can't keep paying for these ERs, Like.
Oh, yeah, I know. I know.
So it was just like, hey, let's figure out another way to manage it. And so then once an anxiety attack happened and we managed it at home, it was like, okay, the ER is off the table. Like, we're not going there. Even though that's the easy solution, like, that's not the long-term fix. That's a short-term fix. But yeah, I think that was the last time was birthday 21. So happy
Did you ever
birthday.
get on any type of anxiety medication?
I did, yeah. So I'm still on Lexapro. So I'm on like the lowest dose, but actually really helped. So that plus the meditations, plus breathing, plus understanding your body, talking about emotions, all that good stuff has really helped. So yeah, I would say men, talk about your feelings.
Not me, though.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
definitely not you.
Well, after your crazy anxiety attack, you went back to the dump.
I did go back to the dump. I think, yeah, so we had the Explorer. I think that one, the crazy cup holder one, I think that was July, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so.
But 5 days later,
Uh-huh.
you land one of your best clients ever.
Oh, yeah.
2 Chick-fil-A owners.
Yes. Jessica, I know you like her post, so maybe you'll see this. Maybe
She's a
not.
real one.
Yeah, so they had a BMW X5, X3, and a 4Runner, and did full details on both of them, which were both fairly high-paying jobs. And then I did maintenance details on them every month. I think it was every month for years. And they were always super nice. They like never bothered you. They would always tip. The cars weren't that like dirty, but it was really cool. Like just to have that consistent revenue coming in and like really good people. So like again, we already talked about Vincent. Like Vincent made a huge difference in the business. Jessica made a huge difference in the business. There's a couple other people that I'm totally forgetting, and I'm sorry. But like the cool thing with Jessica too is like, which maybe it's not much since you run a Chick-fil-A, but like a lot of times she would drop me like free Chick-fil-A, like little coupons, which is awesome. Like you don't have to do that, but like that meant a lot. Just little like tiny gestures to say like, hey, we appreciate like your hard work, you know.
That's awesome.
So yeah, she was a great client.
Was it that one day where you came? I think it was Ballo's first day where he got crazy amount of Chick-fil-A. Is that from Jessica?
Yeah, it was from Jessica. Yeah. Yeah, she. I forget why.
It was a maintenance, and she like tipped in Chick-fil-A cards, right? She gave you 10.
That might have been the last. Honestly, that might have been the last one.
Yeah.
Because we shut down mobile.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Hey, for the last one," and yeah, she like made it rain Chick-fil-A cards.
You didn't share.
I did share.
I mean, because of Ballo.
What? It wasn't just.
It
Oh, it was Ballo.
Because you wanted Ballo so
Yes.
bad. Ballo, by the way, y'all don't know him. He's the AV guy right now. He's behind the camera.
We'll get him on a podcast eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
Maybe he might say some stuff to get us canceled, but
Exactly. I've never seen you try so hard to get somebody. Like, you bought us, 70 chicken nuggets?
okay.
Sandwiches,
Okay.
fries,
So hold on.
sauces.
Okay. So I was hiring 2 people at the time.
Yeah.
We're jumping ahead to 2023, so spoiler alert. I was hiring 2 people. One guy, like, we got it, okay? Done deal. Ended up getting fired. Again, we'll tell that story later. But Ballo was the other one that I really wanted. And I remember calling Ballo and saying, like, hey, you got the job. And he was like, cool. Like, I got to think about it. I'm thinking about taking another job. And I was like, dang. Okay. But then he was like, all right, I'll do my training day. So we do an in-person interview and then we do a training day to see how you work. And so I knew Ballo was going to come in on that training day. And I was like, all right, we gotta show out a little bit. And yeah, so I forgot that was the Chick-fil-A day.
Yeah.
But Ballo, did you even know that?
Nah.
Okay.
Crazy story about that day. Was that the same day where OJ Simpson lady was like mad? Because I.
How do you remember this? I have no idea.
The OJ Simpson comment.
I don't. You can tell that story. I don't even remember.
Okay, so I forgot. It was this huge car. I think it was like a Tahoe. I don't know. But I forgot. I was training Ballo. I don't know why y'all made me train Ballo. I'm a month
You
old.
were training Ballo?
I was training Ballo.
I don't think that's right.
I definitely was.
Okay.
But I missed a huge part. And then she came in all mad. And then we spent an extra hour doing all this other stuff. And the reason why I remember all this, because I felt terrible. But as she was leaving, she's like, yeah, my husband has this one car. I don't know what it's called, but she was like, the O.J. Simpson car. And she was like hyping up this person. She was like, yeah, this cool guy. She was like hyping him up. And then she said O.J. Simpson. So I was like, that's crazy. Wow, was the first guy that popped in your head. Anyway, crazy story. Not really. Anyway, moving on. September 25th is one of your favorite jobs. I think we have a picture of that one, right?
September 25th. Which one is this one?
I thought it was the one you pulled up last time.
Oh, is this the...
Oh, was it headlights?
It could have been the headlights. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, so that one was pretty good, and then the stain removal one that y'all have already seen. But
I don't think we've seen that one.
I pulled it up earlier.
For a brief second.
Yeah.
It was like the couple we followed.
Oh,
that was your favorite job, wasn't it?
Yeah, we can talk about that one.
Yeah.
I don't know. This was not my favorite job, but
Well, wait. That's coming up next. Is that the
that's the
angry guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Get into
Okay.
that.
Well, you can go to the couple split. I want to say
That's still the Challenger.
Oh yeah. You're almost there, buddy. You're almost there.
Let's just talk about.
No, it's okay.
We can talk about the Challenger.
He's like right there though. It's like 2 more pictures.
He's not there.
It's like 2 more. Oh, okay, that's the very fun. We'll cut this out, don't worry. Oh, there we go.
There
Right
we
there.
go. That was hidden.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm super proud of this job because this car had a ton of stains, and again, I didn't have an extractor at this point.
Yeah, I wanted you to talk about that a little bit. So how did you do without an extractor?
Just get good.
See, that's... See...
No, I mean, it was just steam and shampoo, and then you steam it and shampoo it, and steam it and shampoo it, and steam it and shampoo it.
But even like areas like this right here.
Yeah, steam it and shampoo it, bro. Once you reach a certain level of master detailer, you will understand. I don't expect you to understand because I know you're not there yet, but yeah, I was pretty proud of that one.
Every day I get closer to my 2 weeks. Every day. Every day. Every day I get closer to my 2 weeks.
Clip that.
Go ahead and clip that. Say this. I'm saying no. If you get thrown off guard, I'm not here. That's why. Well, moving on to September 26th. The next day, you went from your favorite job to one of your most controversial jobs, which is angry customer.
Oh, okay. So this is a challenge.
This is the challenge. Right?
Okay. All right. There's again. I doubt he'll ever see this, and we're not going to give any personal information.
Yeah. No.
But yes, this guy had a Challenger. I spent 2 days polishing and coating it. Absolutely loved it. He talked a ton to me, which is fine, like totally fine. But yeah, I think he tipped me like $100. He gave me a bottle of whiskey, which like I'm not gonna turn down a bottle of whiskey, you know. Shout out if you want to do a whiskey brand deal, I'm down. But yeah, just incredible guy, right? So this was back in 21, and then actually it was this year when we're in our shop, and he calls for his wife's car. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, love to do it. Let's get it done. I was like, hey, by the way, we're in a shop now. Like, here's the address. He goes, okay. Wife comes, drops off the car, talking to her, everything's fine. And Alberto was there. Alberto starts working on the car. And I'm polishing a car, and Alberto comes over and like motions me over. I'm like, hey, okay, what's going on? And he's like, he gives me like a nod, and he's got like a worried look on. I'm like, what?
So for people who don't know, Alberto is probably, he doesn't like talking to people unless you're close to him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't.
He's a little shy.
Yeah, he's a little shy. He gets anxious. So this was probably like a scary moment for him.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so I see this guy, and I recognize him. I'm like, oh, and I'm like super happy. I'm like, hey, what's going on? And this dude just starts yelling at me. He's like, I can't. I've been driving around for fucking ever. And I'm like, and I think it's a joke.
Yeah.
And so I laugh, I chuckle, I'm like, ha. And he's like, stop 40. And I'm like, oh, you being serious right now.
He just wanted that whiskey back. That's all.
Bro. And so he literally starts like cussing me out. He's like, I couldn't find it. He's like, this is so hard and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't really know what else you want me to say. Like, your wife found it fine. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I've literally never had this happen.
Was he with his wife?
Yeah, the wife's.
That's what it was.
The wife's right there.
That's what it was.
What do you mean that's what it was?
There's certain type of people in this world, and there's people that are, I'm not even gonna get into it.
Okay.
He was in front of his wife. Yeah, act like a tough guy.
Bro,
tough
I
guy.
don't know. But so, anyways, and he was like, I don't even know if I want to do the detail now. And I'm like, hey, cool. Like, at this point, I'm like, I don't want to deal with you. So like, take the car and go. And so he goes and gets in the car, and he starts it up, and he's like going to drive away. Well, Alberto had already started the detail because again, the wife got there fine. And Alberto was like, hey, I already put tire cleaner on the car. And like, you can't let tire cleaner just sit there, right? And so I was like, I stop him. I'm like, hey, like, we already put tire cleaner on. Like, literally just let us pressure wash this and you're good to go. And he's like, fine. And so Alberto's pressure washing like fast as he can because, you know, Alberto's super uncomfortable right now too.
Yeah.
And then so he ends up getting out of the car while we're doing that, and he goes and talks to his wife. And I guess wife was like, I want my car detailed. Like, and so he comes back and he's like, all right, do it. We're like, okay, you want to do it? And he's like, yes, just do it. We're like, okay, we'll do it. So we did it. Took us a few hours, came back, and I thought like maybe after a couple hours he'll calm down. Nah, bro, he was hot when he came back too.
What?
Yeah.
For why?
He said directions. Couldn't find the shop. So that was pretty crazy. But in 2021, best friends.
Best friends.
Best friends. So there you
Dang.
go. People are crazy.
People are crazy. Well, you had a good month next month, which is October 12th. You went to Houston with Chicago Auto Bros for training.
Yep. Obligatory shout out to Chicago Auto Pros every episode. I feel like that's going to happen.
Yeah, and you were just there this last year, too, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, got to go up in November again with Alberto. Did PPF and window tint training. Got to see their facility. Got to see how they operate. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, Houston was just a business class, which is great because again I'm like I don't know what I'm doing. How do I? Even now, it can still feel like a hobby sometimes. I think everybody deals with imposter syndrome, but it's like oh, you're not really a business owner, right? But especially in 21, like it definitely felt like that, which is probably true. Like it probably was a hobby at the time because I didn't have any employees or anything. But I was like, all right, let me go learn from the guys who actually have a business, how to make this a business. And it's funny, like I don't even know if I really took away anything from that training because like everything they were talking about, like a lot of stuff's just basic principles of like go read, go listen and go learn. So like I already kind of knew it, but the big thing I took away from it is we get to like, it was like it happened over a weekend, and at the end of the weekend, open it up for questions. And I asked Jason, I like explained my situation. I'm like, hey, I just started this year. I'm doing okay, but like how do I know when to grow or like when to go for it? And I think his answer was like, you don't, but fuck it, you can do it. And I was like, okay, he says I can do it.
You can do anything.
I was like, I can do anything. Which, looking back on it, I'm like, bro, he was like, he didn't know my situation. But it's so funny because him saying like, just go for it was like, I took that as like, okay, we'll just go for it.
See, he did know your situation. He believed in you.
Yeah, but like,
Believed.
yeah.
You can do anything.
You can do anything.
Especially if you're the ages 8 to 12.
You can fly.
You can fly. Go on the roof and fly.
Shout out to everybody that does not understand that reference, but we'll put the link in the description.
Yeah, please don't get on the roof and fly. So was it any different? Any different from this year's? Was it more in depth?
What are you talking about?
The training. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. So like when we went in November, that was strictly like a technical training, PPF and window tint. Again, this was all business stuff. But I kind of turned it into a business class too because I just picked E-Man's brain. Shout out E-Man, the PPF goat. But yeah, I got to talk to him a lot of kind of how they built their business and different things like that. So
That's awesome. Well, same month, October 26th, you go on TV.
I was on TV.
And what's annoying about this, you don't think it's a big deal.
It's not. Because it was like this local random All In with Brian Weatherford. Like, nobody's ever heard of that. Like,
But you're on TV.
I am on TV, but like, it's not that big of a deal. It was cool, but it was like 5 minutes, and like, that was it. But, yeah, there I am.
Does that do anything for the business?
No, because
Not
nobody...
whatsoever?
I mean, I have it on a How Did You Hear About Us form, and I don't think anybody's ever clicked, I heard about you from Brian Weatherford.
So, that, even beforehand, you didn't think that was a big deal? Or?
I mean, I thought it was cool. Like, obviously I did it. I didn't turn it down, but like, yeah, it wasn't like 60 minutes, you know?
Is he still on there?
Probably. I don't know.
You don't know?
No, bro.
I thought you were like old. I thought you watched the news.
Whoa. Bro, I'm not that old.
Bro.
Bro.
How old are you?
How old are you?
I'm 19. How old are you?
I'm 31.
Sheesh. You're done for.
Okay.
Your youth is gone. Kind of to, well, from 2021, what were like some key milestones, key moments, achievements that you achieved that year?
Nothing. I mean, we did 50K, which I was proud of, just being on my own. I think when we set out, our goal was like 30K or something. Because again, we didn't even know if this was going to work. Which is funny now saying that number because we easily do that in a month.
Thanks to me. Yeah, sure.
Obviously, thanks to you. Yep, 100%. But that was our goal for the whole year. But yeah, we did 50K. But yeah, I don't even know if I had super big takeaways because it was so much. 21 was just so much a grind of wake up, go to the client's house, do the job, come back home, and that was it. Like there wasn't time for anything else. So I wasn't thinking about like, oh, what's our click-through rate, or like what's our closing percentage, or what's our average transaction price, like all these metrics that I just think about now. Like I wasn't thinking about that then. It was just, can I get this job done by 5 o'clock? Like hopefully, so it was just really put your head down, start grinding, and 22 was a lot more growth than 21 was, but 21 was just go out there and grind.
So what about your ability to adapt? So I know you said it's just a grind, but you went through a lot 2021. Like be able to adapt to your anxiety or challenges at home or,
Yeah, I mean, I would say if anything, it was a lot of mental growth in 21, especially with the anxiety stuff. I think learning how to navigate that and get a handle on that's pretty big versus the business stuff. Because again, the business stuff was really just grind. But yeah, it was a more mental adaptation in 21 than anything.
And then with the angry guy, going back to that a little bit, was that your only angry customer through 2021? How did most customers react to your details? Because you're just starting out. Obviously, you're not going to go 100% every time.
Yeah, I mean, I think I can count up until this point, like, the number of angry customers we've had on one hand.
That's awesome.
It's very, I mean, our like, success rate's like 99%, right?
I'm one of those reasons, right? With the
obviously
O.J. Simpson lady.
Yeah, obviously. The only one I can think of is we had a dude, he drove a Maserati. To his credit, he straight up told me, he's like, I couldn't afford the Maserati. I was like, all right, cool, respect that. Like, don't try to flex what you don't have. But he bought this Range Rover, and he thought, like, it was an old, like, beat-up Range Rover. And I think in his mind, he thought, like, oh, I'll just have it detailed, and it'll turn into, like, the same kind of level of my brand-new Maserati that I had. And so, me personally, I think I could have done a better job of being like, hey, this isn't going to come out. This is damaged. It's not a detailing issue, right? And so I remember giving it back to him, and he was like, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? I was like, bro, there's nothing I can do about that. It's not a detailing issue. You bought a very old used car. And so he was kind of upset and left us a bad review. But again, I think that was like one of our only ever bad reviews.
That was back when you had packages, right? Like silver package, bronze package, gold package. If I remember correctly. I think you told me a story. You picked the silver package, right?
Something like that, yeah, which I don't even remember what that is now. I ended up getting rid of that. Now we just have, like, if you want the exterior of your car done, we have an exterior detail. That's it. Like,
I feel like that's better than...
Yeah, don't overwhelm people, man, because people don't know. Like, just tell me what you want, and I will give you the service that meets whatever you're saying. Like, that's just easier that way.
Yeah, and then you said that you made $50K that year.
Yep.
Think you're gonna make 30.
Yep.
What was like the reaction to that? Like, oh wow, we did more than. What was the thought process behind the whole financial of that year?
Honestly, like, nothing. I think even now, like, I mean, my wife is an incredible supporter, and I have a great group of friends, and they're like, "Oh, you should be proud," and I'm like, "No," because I'm I'm nowhere near where I want to be. We're close. We're closer. Like, we're building. But yeah, like, it goes back to the, like, whole premise behind this podcast of 0 to 7. Like, I want to get to 7. We're not there yet. So, like, I'll celebrate when I get there, but until I get there, like, I don't ever feel like celebrating, but that sounds bad of, like, I'm not happy. Like, I am happy, but I'm not satisfied yet. I'm hungry, and there's still a lot more to go, and I just really want to work my ass off to get there.
That's awesome. I'm glad.
Thank you.
So hopefully, keep going up.
Keep
I
going
get
up.
a ton of raises.
Obviously, you're definitely the most valuable employee.
I am.
Yep.
Speaking of which, I would take that raise next paycheck.
Moving
on. You didn't say
I'll run it
no.
by
You
HR.
didn't say no. You didn't say
Run
no.
it by HR.
The position you were in 2021. How do you stay competitive with the market and everybody else going on?
Look at you. That's a great question, actually.
What?
No.
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 Did
That's
I
a
not
great
have
question.
great questions
No,
throughout the whole podcast?
you always have great questions. I just wasn't ready for that. You hit me with the left hook out of nowhere. How did I stay competitive? I think a lot of this, and it's still like, I think a lot of our success today is like, just be professional, right? Like, why have I spent thousands on uniforms? Like, we have really nice Under Armour polos, really nice Columbia jackets. It's because, like, when people are dropping off, I mean, the vehicle is often the second most expensive thing they ever own, right? And so you don't want to walk into, like, a kid with, like, baggy shirt or something and, like, just doesn't look good. So, like, presentation is a huge part. So very early on, look the part, answer the phone. A huge part goes back to the marketing company that I worked with. Again, took over 30,000 phone calls. So, like, I know how to answer and talk on the phone. So when people would call me, I would actually sound intelligent and sound like I knew what I was talking about. And so I think that just super helped build instant credibility. And then at the end of the day, you got to do a good job, right? Like, you can look good and sound good, but if you suck, nobody's going to hire you. But that's, like, doing a good job, like, that's the easy part. Detailing is the easy part of running a detail business. Like, congratulations, you're good at that. Okay, now go master all the other 99 skills that it takes. But yeah, I think the professionalism really helped.
Yeah, and then throughout the years, I know you say we went from an 8-hour detail a day, now we do it in a couple hours. How was the process to enhancing efficiency?
Yeah, I think just once you do it enough and you get enough reps, you kind of develop a system, and then also you start to realize the common missed areas, right? So I can very quickly, like, look at a car, hit the most common missed areas, and move on. And then also just the manpower, right? You know, like, we were talking about a job that we're going to try to really knock out, but if we put everybody on it, I think we can knock it out in like 4 hours, which is crazy, but I'm like, look at the man hours. If I put 4 guys on it, that's 16 man hours. So yeah, obviously having more hands, having better tools and equipment, again, we had talked about that last time, super helps a lot. But yeah, just the reps and just, you look at problems and you know what it's going to take to solve them. So like before, I would look at a spot and I'm like, I don't know how to do that. Like, let me try a couple things. And now I can be like, O&R magic eraser that's going to come out in 5 seconds. But like, I don't have to go try all these different chemicals and like different aggression levels. Like, I just know what's going to work.
It's like trial and error.
Yeah. It just comes with experience.
It's awesome.
Got to put your 10,000 hours in. So.
10,000 hours. Well, what marketing did you use in 2021 to even gain customers?
What did I use? I'm trying to think. I don't know if we really ran ads then, because we really didn't have the budget. Because, I mean, for local, I mean, everybody's different on local business, but typically you want to spend about $300 a month on Facebook if you're going to run Facebook ads. That's kind of the minimum. And then I would say you need at least $1,000 to play on Google a month. So I don't think we were really running ads in 21. I think it was really just website. Like, I built the website. Just anybody can go on Wix, drag and drop. It didn't look amazing, but like it looked okay enough. And I think, yeah, it was pretty much just Google building the website and then just starting to try to get as many reviews as I can, of, especially if people are happy, like, hey, by the way, here's this link. You want to? Huh? So yeah, to eventually that, and then just word of mouth too. You know, people are happy. It might come up with a friend. Although car detailing isn't super something that's gonna like come up all the time, but if it does come up, people will be like, "Oh yeah, I use this guy," and then you get that call. So
I do have a great marketing idea.
you are in charge of marketing.
Yes. Here's my idea.
Tell me the idea.
Sorry. We get your face on a bench.
No.
Why?
Because I'm not a cheesy lawyer.
It works though.
Does it though?
Yes.
Okay, well, I feel like that's the only thing I've ever seen is a cheesy lawyer on a park bench.
Billboards.
Billboards would be cool. Billboards are actually surprisingly expensive.
So tell me the difference between a billboard and a bench.
You don't sit on a billboard.
Good point. Fair point. Fair point. Well, that was all of 2021.
That was 21.
Just wait till 2022.
22, yeah, so 22, just to tease it, we get a shop, we get some employees. Yeah.
More yard trips.
Oh, yeah, I did go to the ER, but not for anxiety.
So stay tuned.
Stay
next
tuned.
time.
Like, subscribe, share.
Whoa, everybody. Make sure you check out our socials. We're on almost everything. And we'll see y'all next Friday.
See ya. Dope.
11:30.
You forgot to mention the OnlyFans. Again.
I wanted to say a Harambe joke so bad.
Dude, when you said the bench, I was so confused. I'm thinking like the workbench, so I'm like, I wanted to intervene like that'd be a terrible idea with me there.
I've had to cough for like the past 30 minutes.
Really?
Alright, let's get the SD cards and get out. Oh, man.
Yeah, I get a drink of water. I was talking way too much.
That was good.
What you think, Paul?
That was good. That was a lot like more, like I belonged, like in this thing right now. Like y'all were just chilling, y'all were vibing.
Yeah.
Like this is the normal day, like this is like in your house.
Yeah.
Dude, the photo thing, we gotta find the slideshow. Dude,
Yeah, that didn't
Well, we know next time. He came in thinking. Also, for the story purposes, Austin, can you sit down so I can record the screen?
Yeah. I took some pretty damn good pictures, though. To be
You
honest. Yeah. I had to get like the keyboard because like I like the color orientation in that.
Yeah. Turn the light off real quick.
That's all. Testing. Podcast, do it for the gram.
You're good.
Did you click the red button?
Oh, I didn't. Stop
Okay.
recording.